So President Trump is totally obsessed with this cognitive test, and he keeps talking about it. He wants Biden to take it. He thinks that, he's going to be able to grandstand and say, see, he didn't do well on the cognitive test. I did amazing on it. So he went on Fox News, and he won't shut up about this freaking test. He's talked about it nonstop. He was saying all the time in the past, such a hard test. It's a very hard test, very difficult test. And Chris Wallace, who was interviewing him recently, was like, bro, they showed a picture of an elephant in the test and said, what is this? Trump said, yes, Chris, but I bet you couldn't even get the last 5 questions. The last 5 questions are very difficult, Chris. And Chris Wallace says, it says count back from 100 by 7. So anyway, he got caught stone dead, bragging about this thing, which is ridiculous to brag about. But he won't let it go. So he goes on Fox News again, and here he is rambling about this test.
So they were saying all these different things. It was going all over. Whichever stuck. None of it stuck, fortunately. But one of the reasons it didn't is that I took a test. I said to the doctor, it was Dr. Ronnie Jackson, I said, is there some kind of a test? An acuity test. And he said there actually is, and he named it, whatever it might be. And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like a memory question, it's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's person, woman, man, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions, and then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And that's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them, and that's okay. If you repeat them out of order, it's okay, but it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question, they don't tell you this, go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Oh, man. I don't know how to get this message through to Trump and people like Trump, but they have to understand that if you really want people to think you're a genius, if you really want people to think you're on another level, the last thing you should ever do is say stuff like this. It's like when Kanye West all the time, I'm a genius. I mean, Bertrand Russell and Albert Einstein and brilliant people throughout history are not rubbing it in people's faces that they're geniuses. You don't have to say it because everybody would be saying it about you. There's no reason to be like, I'm a genius. Did you know I'm a genius? And this is like the equivalent of that. So I did so well. I did so wonderfully on this cognitive test. It was really something special. It was really something so beautiful. And, other people, maybe they don't do as well. I like how he acts like the people who would be giving him such a test would say, sir, sir, how did you do that? That's so amazing. Is it really that amazing? I don't know what percentage of people would get the thing in order or whatever, but is it really that amazing to, get it in order and then, come back, 5-10 minutes later and get it again? Really? Is it that amazing where the people giving the test, sir, we've never seen this before. This is a rare level of genius. I'm not sure we've ever hit this point before. It's just so ridiculous. And the other hilarious thing is he is, without a doubt, he went with things that were in his vicinity. So he said, person, woman, man, camera, TV. That's all stuff that's in his immediate vicinity. And so he's like, okay, let me go with something that I can remember And so he just, lists off a bunch of things that are around him. Oh my God, man. Dude, what are you doing? I mean, it's funny, but it also becomes incredibly sad when you realize that as he's doing this nonsense, we have a pandemic and 140,000 people are dead and millions of people have had COVID. And the real unemployment rate is about 20%. And over 30% of people can't pay their housing bill. And about 28 million people might be homeless within the next year or two. About 40% of restaurants are on the brink of going under. I mean, this is... And as all that's going on, you got President Numbnuts is like, so I took a test. It went really well. It went phenomenally well. And what I would do is I would say the things in the order. And then I was able to say them again in the same order a little bit later. And people said, sir, this is amazing. This is so amazing. It's so sad that we're literally relying on somebody to control foreign policy, foreign affairs, and he didn't know the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. Now, you might not know the difference. You're not president, nor are you running for president. He didn't know the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. He didn't know the difference between Sunni and Shia. This is a guy who probably had no idea what a marginal tax rate was before he became president of the United States. So he ends up bragging about stuff like this. It's cognitive test nonsense. And by the way, as I've said before, when it comes to Joe Biden, I don't think the problem is that he wouldn't do fine on one of these cognitive tests. I think the problem is that he's slow. He's not all there anymore. There's a lag. And he definitely, even as recently as 2016, he was with it and whip smart. Now, putting ideology aside, he was with it. He was there in 2016. Now he's slowly slipping away. But, there is a philosophical question to be asked. Would somebody prefer somebody they massively ideologically disagree with in every way who is a little bit sharper mentally, or somebody who you agree with more philosophically or ideologically and they're a little bit less there mentally? I think that's an interesting philosophical question, but the fact that Trump thinks he's like, he just got a touchdown and he's spiking the football in the end zone. Bro, this is embarrassing. This is like when Trump always said it too. I brought up Kanye before, but Trump always said it too. I'm like a really smart person. You know who doesn't say that? A really smart person. Did never say that. Ever. It's like when a guy's like, oh yeah, I got a giant dick, bro. Giant dick. It's so big. Nobody asked you about your dick, bro. Like, why are you talking about your dick? It's that overcompensation thing. Like, oh yeah? Well, how about this? How about what? Nobody was thinking about that. Nobody cares about that. What are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? I mean, in my mind, I look at this stuff, and the first thing that always comes to my mind is like, this is a dude who wouldn't even do a federal mask mandate from early on in the pandemic, when that alone would have saved so many lives. And so you can't like brag about how with it you are cognitively and how awesome, you make really intelligent decisions when like you couldn't even get wearing a mask during a pandemic is a very good thing and something that should probably be universal so we save lives. You couldn't even get that. And I was going to brag about person, woman, man, camera, TV. This is really smart. So this is genius stuff here. Maybe you don't understand it. Maybe it's above your level. But this is really smart stuff here. I know how smart I am. I know how brilliant I am. I'd like to see Biden take that test. I don't think he would do so well. Imagine using this line of attack against Joe Biden. I did decent on a basic cognitive test. I should clearly be president. That's not... Anybody would do okay on this thing, man. Oh, we live in a nightmare.